Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, a judge grants a reprieve for San Diego County's only remaining medical marijuana dispensary.
How will the conflict between California and federal law for medical marijuana be resolved? And what's new in the detection and treatment of AIDS?
And we'll take you backstage at the Nat to meet some of the people and creatures bringing natural history to life in San Diego. KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dwayne Brown. San Diego County's only licensed medical marijuana dispensary will be open for business tomorrow. A bankruptcy judge held off an eviction for Mother Earth Alternative Healing Cooperative until the group's debts can be sorted out. KPBS business and environment reporter Eric Anderson has this update on the story.
A bankruptcy judge did what a federal judge refused to do yesterday, stop the eviction of the county's only licensed medical marijuana dispensary. Mother Earth's 70,000 customers will be able to get their medicine for at least 45 more days. The decision came as medical marijuana activists rallied in downtown San Diego.
State law needs to be respected. Medical marijuana is and has been medicine. Dispensaries are a legal way, a safe way, a regulated way for patients to get their medicine.
The kernel of the discrepancy is the fact that the federal government does not permit the use of marijuana. It does not permit the sale or the distribution of marijuana. State law, however, allows for the use of medical marijuana. It allows people to grow a small amount of marijuana, and it allows collectives to get together to distribute that marijuana.
Then hopefully 2012 will be the year where we can say finally the federal government realized the medical benefits of marijuana. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what any state does. It doesn't matter what any city does because the federal government can come in and arrest any medical marijuana patient at any time.
And that is precisely what John Redmond thinks the federal government should do. He says there is no law, state or national, that allows marijuana to be sold.
But there's a lot of question as to whether you can have a dispensary, because it never says in a proposition or in SB 420 or any place that you can have a storefront and sell marijuana. That's not what anything says.
Redmond says dispensaries breed crime and make it easier for young people to get their hands on marijuana.
KPBS business reporter Eric Anderson. The bankruptcy court only gave Mother Earth 45 days before the eviction order can be enforced. The U.S. Attorney's Office did not return our calls asking for comment. Police are looking tonight for 3 gunmen who robbed a residential medical marijuana facility in Rolando. Officers say the gunmen beat 2 people in the home before making off with marijuana plants. Congressional Republicans have voted to revoke President Obama's 5-year plan for offshore drilling, replacing it with their own plan to open areas off the Southern California coast. The Natural Resources Committee says the green areas on this map have the greatest resources. The bill passed today would open those areas for leasing over the next 5 years, but it's not expected to pass the Democratic-controlled Senate, and President Obama has promised a veto. The cost at the gas pump in San Diego continues to creep upwards. Today, the average for regular unleaded was $3.80 a gallon. Prices have been rising for the past couple of weeks. The Auto Club says it's because of increases in crude oil prices. A massive twin tunnel system to carry more water from Sacramento to farmland and Southern California was unveiled today. Governor Jerry Brown and Interior Secretary Ken Salazar announced the plan during a news conference. Supporters say it will guarantee a more stable water supply for thirsty cities and farms, but opponents of the $24 billion project say it could destroy the already fragile Delta ecosystem. It supplies 2/3 of California's drinking water. Construction could begin within 2 to 3 years. A broad coalition of community groups is urging San Diegans to do more to conserve water and use it more efficiently. It comes on the 91st anniversary of the naming of the Colorado River, a major source of water for San Diego County. Members of San Diego Coastkeeper, the County Taxpayers Association, and the Save Colorado River campaign got into a river raft near Mission Bay to show their solidarity on the issue. Although city residents have reduced their water use by 7% since 2010.
2011, and we're now doing a study looking at what is the potential for more conservation and more efficiency in the region. And what our preliminary findings are showing, which we think are conservative, is that we could probably be about 20 to 30% more efficient in our water use, particularly in single-family homes in the region.
When you're brushing your teeth, turn off the water. If you're going to water your plants, do it at night or do it for less time. If you're thinking about remodeling your home, choose low-flow appliances. These are all things that will not only save water, but save money at the same time.
Right now, San Diegans use an estimated average of 143 gallons of water a day per person. And the groups say that's out of sync with what other large cities use on a daily basis. A developer has revived a controversial proposal for a quarry north of Fallbrook. You may recall earlier this year, Riverside County rejected the proposed Liberty Quarry, but approved its environmental impact report, opening the door for Granite Construction to revise its plan, and it did, reducing the quarry's production and proposing a per-ton fee to be paid to Riverside County. Now, the original plan was opposed by residents and scientists at San Diego State who have a research facility near the site. They claimed it would hurt the environment and Temecula's tourism industry. San Diego County supervisors have approved a controversial plan to expand a Buddhist center in Bonsall. The Dai Dang Meditation Center would house 30 monks full-time. It would also host up to 300 visitors on weekends and special events. Neighbors say the facility doesn't fit the agricultural area. Supervisor Bill Horn says he's sympathetic, but he says he doesn't think meditating Buddhists are going to put the avocados out of business. At the beginning of this newscast, we told you about a bankruptcy judge's decision in favor of San Diego County's only licensed medical marijuana co-op. It can stay open for another 45 days. This is the latest in the tug-of-war between federal and state law. Medical marijuana activists are working to get approval for collectives onto city ballots around the county. Earlier today, Amitha Sharma spoke with two attorneys about the stalemate. The first voice you'll hear is Jessica McElfresh with Citizens for Patients' Rights.
It seems that the federal government has put the landlord between a rock and a hard place. He's being forced to get rid of a tenant that I'm sure he does not want to get rid of. But when your other option is to lose your property, he's making the choice he's being forced to make.
Medical marijuana is legal in California. Under federal law, there is no such thing as medical marijuana, and it remains illegal. And yet, you've got these efforts around the county to put a ballot initiative that would allow even more medical marijuana dispensaries. And I think there is already going to be one in the city of Del Mar. There are efforts underway in Lemon Grove, in Sanitas, and other cities. What is the point of all of this, or is this a part of a larger strategy?
It's part of the larger strategy of helping ensure that we have safe access in California, particularly in San Diego County. This movement has been fighting for safe access since 1996. We've been knocked down before and gotten back up, and that's what we're going to do here. And as far as the ballot initiative campaigns, we are trying to give cities what they've told us repeatedly that they need and want, which are regulations to allow qualified patients to have safe access.
Eugene, you're a former federal prosecutor. Is this a sound strategy?
Yes, I think this is a sound strategy. I think ultimately speaking, what needs to happen is there needs to be a national discussion on whether or not this is something the American people want.
So what is it going to take to resolve this conflict between federal law and state law?
I think it's going to take the states reaching a tipping point. It's going to take enough states and enough of the larger states getting it getting it approved by the legislature to have some sort of medical marijuana. We currently have 17 states plus the District of Columbia that allow medical marijuana in some form. Additionally, there's 6 states that are looking at medical marijuana use acts currently in their legislatures. Once we get to a sufficient number of states, I think that's the point at which we will be forced to have, as a country, a kind of a national discussion on whether this should be a priority for the federal government or whether it should be either decriminalized or legalized.
So, Jessica, for years, dispensaries were able to sell marijuana for medicinal uses. And last year, the U.S. Attorney in San Diego said, look, there are a couple of shops here who have been selling to lots of people under the age of 21. They've been selling medical-laden marijuana. They're making a lot of money, and they're selling a lot of it. Did a couple of storefronts just ruin it for everyone else? What happened?
Frankly, I think you're always going to see a few people who break the rules, but I do not believe that that's why. You don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. The U.S. Attorney was free to go after people that they felt were not in compliance with California's law, which is the policy that was promised to us when President Obama took office. However, they've done an about-face and have decided to go after numerous lawful establishments that are in compliance with California law, including facilities that are licensed by their local governments, and it's happening throughout the state of California.
So, Eugene, say a couple of these medical marijuana activists come to you and they say, look, they hire you, they say, what should we do? How do we proceed? What would you advise them to do?
Well, the difficult problem is, well, first of all, the advice would be to ensure that you're strictly in compliance with California law. That would eliminate some of your difficulties right there. But ultimately speaking, the problem is that there is no provision for medical marijuana use under federal law whatsoever. So there is always going to be the possibility of enforcement against any type of medical marijuana dispensary that's operating within the state, even if it is legal under California law.
And this conversation is going to continue, no doubt. Thank you, both of you, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Federal officials have agreed to review 2 deadly police shootings in Anaheim. The city has been the center of violent protests over the past 4 days. As many as 1,000 demonstrators clashed with police last night. The shootings were separate incidents from Saturday and Sunday. A new report says fewer felons are skipping out on probation since California realigned its criminal justice system. More than 23,000 ex-convicts are reporting to county probation officers instead of state parole officers. Less than 4% of those ex-convicts have missed their meetings. Under the old system, 14% had failed to report and became fugitives. Ask a kid to choose between an apple and a Twinkie, and a lot of children might just go for the junk food. A consumer group says the government is doing the same thing with federal subsidies. The California Public Interest Research Group says an apples to Twinkies comparison shows apple growers get less federal money than corn syrup producers. Twinkies are made with high fructose corn syrup. CalPERC says subsidies make junk food cheaper than healthy food.
Honestly, it's hard for farmers selling romaine lettuce, carrots, apples, and other incredible produce to compete with Happy Meals, Pop-Tarts, and Easy Mac, especially when it costs less.
CalPERC says supporting local farmers will help to bring down the cost of healthy foods. Of course, this week the 19th Annual International AIDS Conference is underway, and there may be some promising developments on the horizon. Amitha Sharma is looking into some right here in San Diego.
San Diego has long been a hub for scientific advances, and that is continuing in the treatment and detection of HIV/AIDS. Joining me are 2 local researchers working to prevent the spread of the disease. Dr. Sheldon Morris is with UCSD Antiviral Research Center, and Dr. Davy Smith is Associate Professor of Medicine at UC San Diego. Dr. Morris, there's been a lot of buzz around this new drug called Truvada. You participated in some local research on this. What does the drug do, and what are some of the challenges?
Well, this is a drug that we've used for a long time for treatment of HIV, for people that are infected. It's one of our favorite drugs, backbone therapy. It's a combination of 2 medications, and there's been several studies that have proven that it's very effective in reducing the chances of somebody that's not been infected, who is at risk, reducing their chances of getting HIV. Some of the challenges, though, are clearly that how do you use this and how do you roll this out into a prevention in both the developed and developing countries. The cost is quite high, and who is going to prescribe it, who you're going to give it to, there's a lot of questions.
And Dr. Smith, so how do you get around that?
You do studies, just like what Dr. Morris is planning in his group, is to go out and see who needs the medication, who can take the medication, what are the side effects, what are the adverse events, because there are going to be some, and do the risks actually outweigh the benefits? And the only way to do that is in a clinical trial, which is what is planned. The good thing about this is that San Diego has been very generous, especially among high-risk communities in San Diego, coming together to enroll and participate in science. That's the reason that San Diego is one of the forefront leaders in HIV research for decades.
And Dr. Smith, now you've recently received a grant that will allow you to study the disease, how it spreads. What is going to be your area of focus?
So the main part of my project is to figure out what is the transmission network overall in San Diego County. And then we do that by sequencing the virus in everybody. Everybody has a unique strain, basically, and we can figure out the relatedness of these strains to come up with clusters. And sometimes these clusters grow and expand very quickly. And once we're able to identify that in real time, then we can do prevention efforts specifically related to those clusters.
And how will the results of your study be used?
Hopefully, it'll be a good prevention way to keep actively evolving transmission networks from spreading. So we could actually stop it at the very beginning before it spreads to multiple people and gets out of control.
Dr. Morris, you participated in a study a couple years back showing that the blood test was, I think, a little bit better in early detection of HIV than other methods, but that was not frequently used. How frequently used is it now?
Well, things have developed from that, and we still do that test, and Dr. Smith is part of this, in nucleic acid testing for people that have had recent infection, people that are before they develop the antibodies. There are some newer tests that also test for viral antigen that are very effective. So there's a lot of things underway to try to use these methods to detect these small segment of people that are very infectious and are very earlier in their infection, because those are the people we want to get on therapy now. That's the whole idea of prevention, get people diagnosed and treated.
And what about an AIDS vaccine? How far away are we from this?
Well, in my impression is that we're quite a ways away from it. I mean, I think there's a strong impetus to fund research into vaccines, and we'd all love to have a vaccine. It would just be so much easier to control HIV throughout the world. However, it's a very difficult virus to target, and so far we have not had a lot of success.
Very quickly, Dr. Smith, what's the biggest challenge that is faced, that everyone is faced with in fighting AIDS?
There are two big things that we need to do on the research side. One is a cure and the other is a vaccine, and we go to work every day to try to come up with efforts on those. In the meantime, we need better prevention efforts, and that's what we're here to discuss today, both in terms of pre-exposure prophylaxis, with what Dr. Morris is doing, and also these epidemiology processes.
Dr. Smith, Dr. Morris, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks.
There's a $5,000 reward tonight for an unusual cat who went missing in La Jolla. It's a savanna cat, an exotic animal that can sell for up to $20,000. Her name is Ivy. A Chicago man lost her while visiting friends in La Jolla last week. Now his family has hired bloodhounds trying to track Ivy down. Most people have been to a museum to marvel at fossils and other displays, but not many folks get a backstage tour to see what goes on behind the scenes. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando talks with a curator from the Natural History Museum about the work we don't see.
It sounds like something out of a horror film. Flesh-eating beetles that can clean a carcass down to the bone. But the beetles I'm talking about work for the San Diego Natural History Museum.
They are beetles of the family Dermestidae, which are specialized for feeding on dried, decaying flesh on the skeleton. and get it down to be completely clean, except possibly for some tough connective tissue.
Philip Unit is curator of the Department of Birds and Mammals at the San Diego Natural History Museum. He says the beetles aren't a threat to humans because they're very slow and eat only dead, dried mussel. But they could be a danger to the museum if they ever got out of their display case.
Right, yes, because the same beetles that we rely on to clean the skeletons can destroy the collection of bird and mammal skins if they were to get into it.
1 day a week, Unit devotes to prepping specimens like this one.
So now we apply cornmeal generously to keep any blood or body juices from soiling the feathers.
Unit became interested in birds and their identification as a teenager.
I started reading the literature on bird distribution and ecology and realized the critical role that specimens played in understanding that. So it was something I wanted to learn to do myself, and our former curator was teaching ornithology at SDSU that semester, and he said, come to the museum and learn how to skin birds.
The basic purpose of his department is to preserve birds and mammals for scientific study. It has about 48,000 bird specimens and 23,000 mammal specimens accumulated over 140 years.
Here we have a skull of the short-tailed albatross, picked up by A.W. Anthony on Pacific Beach, 6th of May, 1893, number 69 in our collection. Here we have a bat, a flying fox, collected on the island of Guadalcanal, August 11th, 1944. Someone fighting in World War II took time to document the biodiversity of Guadalcanal.
People bring the museum dead birds and animals that they find. Then Unit has to decide if the specimen is worth keeping, if it tells us a new story. Take this gull that struck the new Sunrise Power Link.
Birds strike power lines and kill themselves, but we discovered a migration that no one knew of Sabine's gull, that they apparently would come up through the Gulf of California and then cross over.
Unit points out the importance of museum collections by citing how pelican eggs help to reveal the detrimental impact of DDT. Scientists were able to note a calcium deficiency in eggshells that made them too fragile to incubate.
How would we know what the proper thickness of a pelican eggshell is if we didn't have one that was collected before DDT was even invented? So the moral of the story is whatever we may collect and prepare and preserve these specimens for now, future generations are going to come up with uses that we can't even imagine.
That's because each generation of biologists has a responsibility to help us understand the factors that can impact our environment.
Research collections in museums are like the ground floor of biology. All your guides to the identification of plants and animals were written by scientists working with collections like ours.
Unit often gets asked why the museum keeps so many examples of a single species.
One answer to that is, which one of us can represent the human species? All species of animals really encompass diversity, so to understand both diversity within a species as well as diversity among species, the collection is critical.
So remember, there's a lot more going on at the San Diego Natural History Museum than what you see on display.
That's KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando. The History Museum currently has a featured exhibit on skulls.
Tonight in the public square, we had many comments on our interview with Lori Saldana and Professor Alex Crate about gun control. On our website, the user CrayFun1 wrote, I believe this mass shooting reinforces the urgent need for a serious national conversation on gun control, particularly regarding the lapse of the assault weapons ban. The user Marjorio wrote, I like the idea of gun control, but now that people have guns in the U.S., it's going to be very hard to do very much in terms of gun control that will have an immediate effect. Putting gun control in effect now is like shutting the barn door after the cow is already out. And the user RLA wrote that our interview showed bias. KPBS Local News, your bias is showing again. Your choice of two gun control advocates with no balancing counterpoint, and Ms. Pico's obvious bias made for a very slanted presentation. Our host, Peggy Pico, responded on our website that we did reach out to a gun rights advocate, but he did not respond to our interview request. You can weigh in on the conversation by following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and of course, you can email us.
Recapping tonight's top stories, a bankruptcy judge has given a reprieve to the county's last licensed medical marijuana co-op. The Mother Earth Alternative Healing Co-op was supposed to be evicted today, but the judge gave it another 45 days to get its debts sorted out. And this is a map of an offshore oil drilling plan approved in the House today. Congressional Republicans passed this plan as a replacement for President Obama's 5-year strategy. The Natural Resources Committee says the green areas on this map have the greatest resources. The bill passed today would open those areas for leasing over the next 5 years, but it's not expected to pass the Democratic-controlled Senate, and President Obama has promised a veto. Of course, you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thank you for joining us. You have a great night.